I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We'd like to thank Aelin for joining us. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aelin. I'm a sci-fi variety VTuber who does everything, and today I'm here with Eric. How are you, Eric?
I'm doing great. Much better now that you're here. Wow.
Oh,
trying to be the good host as much as possible. So you're a variety streamer. You're doing all sorts of things online.
yes.
You know, that a lot from the gotcha games to the Kingdom Hearts rerun through, and how did you get started with it?
How did I get started with Kingdom Hearts or just
VTubing in general.
in general?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. I think for streaming in general, I wasn't always a VTuber. I started off with I think back in 2019, I saw like the world of streaming and I was like, oh, that's super intimidating. Just like seeing so many people in a chat with one person, and I was like, man, one day I would really like to do that. And then 2021 comes around, and I'm just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. So I set up everything on my own. I had made all my own layouts. Um, all catered towards like Final Fantasy because I originally wanted to start streaming Final Fantasy. That's a very big like special interest of mine.
Right.
So I just wanted to stream that, which is really funny. And me and my chat always joke about it. Like, you wanted to stream so much Final Fantasy, but that's the game I haven't like been playing the most lately. Like even then, I remember streaming like when it was just me and my best friend Lucy, we would always stream Persona 4. It was many Persona 4 streams before I actually got down to do all my Final Fantasy stuff. And then it would be a year later that I was like, another good friend of mine was like, hey, you're kind of like going into the streaming, right? I was like, oh yeah, like something I would like really like to stay dedicated to.
Right.
She was like, you should watch Iron Mouse. I was like, okay, and I did, and I was like, oh my god, like her little model, I just love it. I was like, I want to do that, and I found like the Vroid stuff, and I made my first model, and then I never knew about the whole debut thing, so I just got all my stuff together and just started streaming, and then I was like, I'm just gonna stay right here on Twitch. And then, like a couple months, I got on Twitter, and everything kind of just took off from there. Really.
and since then, it's been a roller coaster ride.
Yes, sir. It has.
So, how long did it take for you to get comfortable with it once you saw what you had to do it?
Oh, I like to think it didn't take too long to get like comfortable, but I feel like it kind of did because so many people kind of just come at you at one time and like they want to hang out. And I would like to think I'm a big people person in the way that it's really easy for me to like kind of get along with everybody, but I realized through this streaming journey that I definitely do need my alone time because it gets draining to like talk to so many people and like be with so many people. So I got streaming with comfortable really fast, but I think being a part of a community with people that are like always on the go, I was like, oh my gosh, it's really hard to keep up sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like now you're not only handling your own life, but you also are a part of so many other people's lives, whether you intended that or not.
Yeah, I always think about that actually. Like, it was just me and my best friend, and then we got like for a few years now, I've been really good friends with certain people, and they're a part of my like they know who I am outside of my streaming persona, and it's really special to me personally to be able to have these people like I know it's very rare for the community, I guess, because of how much like drama that usually happens for so many people to have a really like solid group of people that are around them. But I think I am privileged enough to say that when it comes to that I have an extremely solid group of friends that like keep me going and like constantly like I guess we're inspiring each other to keep going. But something like that, and it feels really nice actually. Like I don't know, like if there's one thing I'm happy that this journey has given me is this really solid group of friends that I hope to cherish for a really long time.
It's when you get something like that going, and it's rare no matter what you're doing, really. Not just
Hmm.
streaming, but at a big corporate workforce, and you have a team you're working with. When you get something like that, it tends to nurture itself, doesn't it? It kind of the spiral goes upward, and everybody seems to participate in that spiral.
It's really nice.
Now, now, as long as you don't start spiraling the other way, because
Oh yeah.
things like that happen too. But it sounds so when you went in, did you already have friends that were VTubers?
Um, no, I didn't. I met all of my VTubing friends through VTubing,
Yeah.
but I had other friends who were streamers, like I guess a really weird term people like use. They're called flesh tubers. They're just like, they just show their faces.
Right, right.
um um so they were streamers, but I before I was, I guess, exposed to VTubing content, I had never met anybody who was doing the same thing. But I guess I became that friend for a lot of people though who wanted to do VTubing, like another best friend of mine who happens to be my cousin. I got them into it because they were like, "Oh, what you're doing is really cool." So I helped them set up a lot of the stuff that they're doing, and it's interesting to go from not knowing what you're doing to being the one to help somebody.
So it's like you're the one that brought the band-aid, so you get to be the doctor.
Pretty much, yeah.
You get to do the surgery when it comes up. But really, it is nice to be able to bring in other people with you to enjoy what you're enjoying. And um, so far, you are enjoying it, right?
Oh yeah, of course. I think once throughout this whole journey, I've had to take one hiatus just for like mental stuff, but
Mhm.
all in all, I think this is something that I like extremely enjoy, and so much so I guess it's kind of seeped into my real life. Like my family knows that I do this, and they're always super supportive of it. And my mom, she's so funny. She's always like, "Can you make me like a model too, and we can stream together?" I was like, "If you really want
Yeah,
to."
why not? Yeah, I mean, yeah, if she wants to, if she finds something that she enjoys, and you two enjoy doing it, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It does kind of open up a few things with maybe, you know, exposing immediate family to some things. But if you've got everything all put together and she wants to do it, more power to her.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So when you got when you guys started, you turned on that microphone and you started seeing that there were people tuning in, waiting on you to say something or to play the game or whatever. Did did you start feeling the heebie-jeebies at that point?
Um, yeah, every single time actually, like I'm pretty comfortable with like everybody who comes and watches me, but I still get a little bit of like a little like tingly, and I'm just like, oh God, what do I say? Like I always just end up starting the stream by laughing, and I'm just like, okay, guys, like let's get silly.
There's that little pressure release before you get started in it. There's nothing wrong with that at all, and just the fact that the possibility of so many people tuning in for you from countries that you may never have heard of before
Hmm.
is pretty amazing, and and for people to come back to watch you again when you realize that you've got regulars. How does that hit you?
Oh, I think in the beginning I was like, or not even just in the beginning, like now I'm always extremely grateful when people like come in and have stayed, and I've had people come and go all the time, but I have friends who were with me from the very beginning and they're still here, and
Mm-hmm.
that feels really special to me. Like it's I want to like I guess like all the time I always say like I just want to build a community full of people who enjoy doing things together without feeling judged, or I guess build a safe space, and for people to keep coming back to that. It feels really nice because it feels like I'm doing the job that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I never get upset when people don't come back or anything. Like I've had people come in. I remember I was streaming Resident Evil Biohazard, and I had some pretty active chatters and they were really nice. But then when the game was finally finished, they unfollowed me, and I was like, "Well, you came here and got what you wanted. That's fine, I guess."
Yeah.
Or I've had people come in here or like come in my chat and say like, "I think the game you're playing is really boring, but I like you, so I'm gonna stay." And I don't really know how to take those kind of comments. I'm like, "Okay, cool,
Yeah.
I guess."
Yeah. But
Um,
that's the thing though. You'll have a few people who are fickle and jump from game to game, but to have the people come back for you, the personality, the person, um, that's validating in a few ways that maybe you didn't expect, probably.
oh yeah, of course. Like, one thing I always get told that makes me kind of laugh because I don't understand it. Like, I have my really good friend explain it to me sometimes because everyone's like, "Oh, Vaughn, I like to go into your streams because you're just so cozy," and I'm like, "What?" Because I look at my VODs and I'm like laughing really loud or like screaming or being goofy, and I'm just like, I don't know what part of that is comforting to you, but if it makes you happy, I'm really happy that you like to be there with me. Like I'm just really grateful for anybody who really stops by, and there's only so many hours in a day, and like for somebody to choose like to come and spend a few hours with me to be dumb on the internet feels really nice, and I'm glad that we can meet.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great attitude to have. And that being said, you talk about hours in the day. Is it tough for you to keep a schedule? Is the outside world uh, making it rough for you to stay online?
Um, yes and no. I have like stuff that I do in the morning, and then I try to handle all the morning stuff in the morning so that my afternoons are my afternoons. Like I need to be able to have like time to just do stuff for myself, like anything really. Like I know a way that I like to decompress from everything is like just watching movies,
Hmm.
but I'm lucky enough to be able to have a jammed packed day that is like mostly morning things so that the afternoon I can do whatever I want. And I know like a lot of like amazing stream friends I have, they're all ESTs, so I guess it can be a little finicky to try to match everyone's schedules for stuff.
Right.
And I always try to like, because my schedule is a lot more flexible, I try to like go off of everybody else's time, but then that can be a little bit like, well, I could just rather go off of your time, and I'm like, but you seem like your schedule's a lot more tight than mine's is,
Yeah.
so that can always be like a little troublesome. But
Yeah, that can
I think
that can get really interesting sometimes with the time zones.
yeah,
But go ahead.
it's just work in progress,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
because I like to be able to get like most of my streaming done in the later hours of the day.
Yeah.
Like I like to try to start around like 7, 8, really, and then go from there. But yeah, it really just depends on the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And with this and with that put together, have you seen anything carry over besides, the schedule, obviously, from your on-air life and on-the-line life to your personal life? I mean, have you seen that as you interact more with people or less with people or use language that you would only use on stream with people?
Oh man, that last one, it's so embarrassing. I think the last one applies to me more than anything because my friends, they like to say a lot of interesting things, and I just find myself unironically using those things, and then I get really embarrassed when somebody's like, "What?" Like, oh dang it. Let me just step away from this conversation before it becomes even worse because I feel like explaining it is worse because you don't have the context and you're like, no, really, wait, it's funny, I promise. I'm like, okay, I'm worried.
Well, sooner or later you get to the point where they're just there. They go again, and just go on to the next thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just ignore it and go. Now you mentioned that that I think you said that you did your own art for your model. Is that true?
Not for my model, but in the beginning I put together a lot of my own streaming assets and like panels and whatnot. Like before I became a VTuber, I did all those things that were like, I guess like they had like a Final Fantasy aesthetic to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did all of those myself.
So are you an artist?
Yes, I want to say yes. A lot of, it's a work in progress, but yes, I'd like to believe I'm more of like, well, yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
The final verdict is yes.
Yes.
Aelin is an artist. That is this something that you've kicked around for a while, or just kind of doodled and then decided that you wanted to do a little more of it later on, or did you study art? And are you a self-taught person?
Um, I think for a while I had friends who were like really good at art, like when I was younger, and they would teach me. So I guess self-taught. But like for a while, like ever since middle school, I've like drawn and doodled, and I was really proud of that. But sometimes you have like not immediate family, but like aunties and uncles, or like you're just wasting your time doing that kind of stuff. So it kind of did get to me. I wish it didn't. I feel like I'd be a much better artist if I just kept practicing, but I did put down the pencil for a while, and eventually I kept drawing. And I think my parents, when I was younger, wanted to encourage that, and so they got me an iPad, and
Oh, cool.
I would do digital art and like editing and stuff like that. I've gotten really good at those kind of things, and I just really like to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So like an artist in the sense of like drawing art or singing, or I like to be able to do all of those things really.
Yeah. So singing, is that next on the line?
Yeah, I've been actually singing since I was really young. Like I've done everything under the sun when it comes to singing.
Really?
Like I guess choir clubs and like glee clubs and like any type of club that had anything. I was in several different drama clubs. I did do I guess like a little hometown production of Peter Pan when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always done something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes me nervous to do it online now, but I think at the start of next year I definitely want to be able to add V singer to my title.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I really want to do.
Is it a question of confidence?
Yes and no. Like I don't know. Like I know I'm pretty like I'd like to say I'm really good, like for myself. Like I'm really like proud of myself for that and like confident for it, but it's just it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Any new project makes me nervous.
Yeah.
I want to be able to enjoy what I'm doing, but I also want to like, oh my gosh, is anybody gonna care about this when I post?
Well, and there's a lot of that to take into it. And I've talked to artists and singers before, and there's a lot of folks who enjoy singing in the shower or writing in their notebooks at home or something along those lines. But
Mhm.
when it comes to putting it out there for other people to see, that's a completely different sack of potatoes there. I mean, it's a mountain that some people can't get over. You been able to do that with the art stuff. You show what you're able to do with the art. Is that
Hmm.
what's going on with the music too? Maybe just not so much singing the songs, but showing other people while you sing the songs.
Yeah, that's probably it because I'm just like, you're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea, so you can show them something and be like, "Oh, okay." Oh man, it'll crush me. It'll crush me so bad. It's
Oh,
just maybe it's a fear of rejection. I don't know.
yeah. Well, it's a very courageous thing to do, and um, people fight that sort of thing all the time. Little fights against themselves for that sort of thing. Um, I wish I could say go for it because I'm scared to death of it myself. So I wouldn't do anything like that. But it's amazing to see people overcome using this medium to overcome fears and things along those lines. I won't say it's like
Mhm.
a big giant phobia for you or anything, but um, once you do get over it, and I think you probably will. I mean, you seem pretty pretty sturdy. You seem like a sturdy person. Um, a great word to use. Um, that sooner or later we're gonna hear you. Do you think?
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah. So when it does happen, what songs are you gonna do?
Um,
Death metal.
I guess death metal. Wouldn't that be something? Oh man. I've always wanted to do a cover for Sanctuary from Kingdom Hearts.
Mm. We're back to Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, that's a song we probably know inside and out by now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If you haven't sung it out, you've sung it in your head a few times.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I mean, we look forward to that, and again, it's always going to be a question of when you're comfortable to do it, and
Hmm.
and uh, and there might be one or two times you're ready to push that button, and then you're like, wait another couple days.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll a little bit longer.
Yeah, a
It'll
little
be
bit
perfect, I
longer than
promise.
that. So, with the channel in general, are you wanting to expand into? Um, I mean, you're already a variety streamer, but do you want to expand that into different types of streams, if once you get your dandruff karaoke or anything like that?
Uh, yes. I even if I didn't want to, I have to because it was a community goal when I hit 700 followers to do karaoke, and I just haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. I have to.
you guys, you guys have to all learn to make those things harder to get to.
I know.
But maybe that'll be the thing that breaks your ice for you. I don't know. Um,
I
it,
was thinking about that. I
yeah,
believe it.
yeah. Once you get in there, they throw you in the deep pool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe it'll work. But the so with the games that you're playing right now, and you have the folks, you can head over um, to the channel and see that on the Twitch there is a list of things that Von Aelin has been playing. Um,
Hmm.
is there a game that you haven't played yet that you'd really like to get on that stream?
Oh, I think one thing I've been really wanting to play lately is Persona 3,
Mm.
the newer one. I had got it for my birthday and I just haven't played yet, but oh man, she is a temptress because the music of Persona is just so good, and I'm like, oh, I need to get in there and play it because I played 4, I love 4,
Hmm.
but 4 is my first Persona, and I've been getting through 5 with my best friend, and I wanted to finish 5 before going into 3, but oh man,
So
it's tempting.
so what draws you to the Persona game as a particular game that you enjoy?
I think in the beginning, so Persona is like a special interest for my best friend, and they were like, these games are really good, you know, giving the whole like um yap session, if you will, for Persona, and I was really drawn in by like the storytelling and the aesthetics and the music, and I was just like, okay, I have four, let's just play four. And oh man, you love the characters, they're so funny and dumb, and I just love funny dumb characters. And um, it's just like, I don't know, like the aesthetics too, especially in four, like all the colors, and it's so nice. Like, I think the way the Persona series utilizes colors to tell a story, it's just spot on. It's so nice. And especially just the music. The music alone should like make somebody interested to see what the rest of the series has to offer, because it's so good.
There's some things that when I watch other people play it, there's some things that are kind of reminiscent of other type games, but then the way it does it is so different. The this in you know the even the cut scene or the in between panels are different, and that alone kind of makes it stand out. I think. Yeah, it's so folks might want to give that one a try. But I also see you've listed every gotcha game that ever existed.
It's a curse. They just grab you and then you're in.
I'm calling you out.
It's a problem. It is a problem, I will say.
Well, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, you're enjoying yourself with them, and so tell me when you do get on there and you get a pull that isn't quite what you want, but you can use. What goes through your mind? How am I going to use this, or I'm going to pull again?
Oh man.
Truth, truth, truth.
I'm gonna keep pulling until I get what I want. That's just the reality of the situation. um, but you know, when you run out of resources to wish or pull or whatever the game mechanic is, you kind of just have to utilize what you have, and it's a bummer. I'll complain about it the whole time. Just in a funny way, you know. It is what it is. But yeah.
Well, when you look at a game like Genshin Impact and see that how it's expanded and kept itself alive through the expansions, would you rather have a game that did that rather than try to come up with an entirely new setting and a new game engine, like a Genshin Impact 2, you know, Rise of the Cryptids or something, you know? I mean, would you rather have an expansion of the game to keep the game going, or an entirely new game?
Honestly, I think there are pros and cons to each, because when you have a base game going for so long and then you just keep adding to things on the base game, it kind of becomes a little convoluted. Like, okay, there's a little bit too much going on now. And like keeping up with all of the story and like all of the areas that are happening, it's kind of just like, well, what's going on? Like you kind of lose your touch, and then if you put two in front of it, like I feel like it's just a whole nother system. Like you have to learn.
Yeah.
And then people drop the first one for the second one, even though they're both going. Like it's kind of just, it feels messy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what Genshin has done with like continuing, it's not too bad. I haven't picked up Genshin in a hot minute, but I did enjoy playing.
Yeah, and it to me, when I hear that, there always seems to be a big backlash for a number two, for fans of number one. I'm just not going to like it. It's not going to be as good. And some people are going to go in with that type of attitude. But if they can add to one, people will say, "Well, it's part of one. I'm going to have to do it." There's marketing involved all the way around, but I imagine we're going to see a lot more of just the add-on type of things. More of what you love in every game,
unfortunately.
But it'll still cost you the same if you just bought an old new game in the long term. So, what is next for your channel right now? Have you got any big plans in the near future?
Big plans. I think I've talked about it before, but I want to get hand cam streams going.
Mm.
I have Legos that I want to build,
Ah, yeah,
and eventually want to do the singing.
all right. Well, your voice is
Um,
outstanding for this, so
oh, thank you. Um, I
yeah.
think just for right now, we've been going through like indie horror games,
Mm.
so just playing through that. I think a long-term goal that me and my community have sort of been talking about is finding a charity. We want to be able to help support a charity. So at the beginning of the year, we can actively fund that because I want to be able to use my platform to give to,
Mm.
give a spotlight to somebody who needs it and somebody who can, like, I guess, benefit from it. Like, I
Right.
just want to be able to help somebody. So we want to pick a charity to be able to donate to.
That's wonderful. You're a good egg. That's good stuff. And you'll be to be able to want to give back already after this is really commendable. And I wish we had more people that thought that way. I wish I thought that way. Wait a second. I
Oh.
just outed myself here. But really, it's good to hear that you're wanting to not just be out there with your talents and entertain people, but also contributing back to the group as a whole, and that's very commendable. Good on you
Mhm.
for that. So
Thank you.
yeah. So what are you doing right now on the channel? So people need to know about.
Right now we're going through horror games, trying to finish up Yakuza series. I knew I would like Yakuza, but like I wasn't expecting it to be the way it was when I first started playing, and now I'm just in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to get through that so I can go on to Kiwami 1 and 2, but so horror games, collabs Tuesdays and Thursdays. Um a lot of Fortnite because I have a very active community who loves to play with me, and I'm really grateful for it. It's really fun. And just anything that comes into my head last second.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean that's the life of a variety VTuber, isn't it? It's you leave enough room for the chaos to be enjoyable.
Always.
Yeah.
Also, Eric, I wanted to tell you, I think you are doing a service to others and you don't even know it by giving your time to do these interviews for people and giving them a spotlight. I think that's very commendable too. So I think what you're doing is also really amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me, and it's a little bit of therapy. I won't lie about that because I was in radio for a long, long time, and
Mm.
being out for 5 years, you want to get back and talking with people, and that was always the best part of radio anyway, is talking with folks, and that's what we're doing. We're
Mhm.
just, I called it an interview because it kind of is an interview, but we're more just chatting, and
Yeah.
conversation is that you learn more about people in conversation than you do anywhere else. I think so. But thank you for that. I appreciate it very
Yeah, of
much,
course.
and I definitely
I
appreciate you
always
coming on.
thought that was really fascinating.
Yeah, I thank you so much because it's great to meet you and to let folks know about what you've got going on. Soon we'll be hearing that voice of yours and your karaoke and your song cover of Metallica and all all of that stuff coming up. The sky's the limit for you, and I hope you get to it. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll get you back on
Thank
again
you so
soon,
much for having
and
me.
we'll update everybody with you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.